Hello children, today we are going to do another chapter in science, and the name of the chapter is Metals and Non-Metals. So a very interesting chapter. So first of all, metals. So whenever you are there in your kitchen, you see many of the substance made out of metal, especially your utensils and all, the knives and all, those are your substance made out of metals. And you see the property of metals out there. Those are very much hard, those are very much shiny surface, and they are good conductors of heat. That's why cooking utensils are made out of your metals. We can categorize them as metals. Then you have another group out there which are known as non-metals. So usually an example of non-metal would be the very one, coal. You've seen coals, and also from there you can produce fires and all. So that is an example of a non-metal. So whenever you are comparing that with any of the metal from your kitchen, you see there is a vast difference between them. One of them is hard, another one of them is very soft, and one of them has a shiny surface, and another one doesn't have. So with this we categorize any material with this property as metals and non-metals. So first of all, we are going to see some of the physical properties of metal. So one of the properties is hardness. First property is hardness. As it's shown in the diagram, you have a bucket and an iron. Those are made of your metal. So as we all know, iron is also metal, and it is exceptionally very much hard. So this kind of bucket, nowadays we don't see it. Usually it's made out of your iron, and it's very much hard and very heavy as well. So this kind of irons are also are rarely seen. So these were made out of iron, and they were very hard in nature. Now one of the hardest metal, I mean not hardest exactly, these are exactly your metals. So your aluminium and all, sodium and potassium out here, those are very much soft. So like not all metals are hard. Your sodium and potassium are very much soft, so much soft that they can be cut with knives. And not only that, these are some of the examples of metals. We have one of the hardest substance present, which is not a metal but it's a non-metal, and that is a diamond. So diamond, it is a composition of carbon. So diamond can be made from carbon, and it is exceptionally very much hard, much harder than any of the I think it is the one of the hardest element present in the earth. So it is a non-metal. So that is an exceptional case. Now we are trying to see some of the physical state. So metals are generally solid. So you as I gave you the example, whether it be hard, whether it be soft, usually all the metals are solid except one of the metal, that is mercury. So mercury, it is liquid in room temperature. Usually you can see mercury in thermometers and all. But whenever we are comparing it to the non-metal are found in all three states: liquid, solid and gas. Example, your carbon, sulfur and phosphorus are solid, whereas oxygen, hydrogen and nitrogen, those are in gas form, and bromine, it is a non-metal which is in liquid state. So these are some of the physical state of those substance. Now shine and luster, shiny surface. So usually all the metals are shiny in nature, and so much so that if you just observe in a spoon, you can see your face out there, and this shiny property is known as a luster. So usually all the metals are luster in nature, but non-metals, for non-metals we don't have those luster property except one, that is iodine. Iodine has that property of luster. Then another property which is known to us is malleability. Malleability is that property with the help of which metals can be beaten into thin sheet. That means this property is usually shown by metals. So whenever a metal is being hidden with any of the element, like if a metal is being struck with any element, instead of breaking, it forms a thin sheet of layer, like your aluminium foil, gold foil and silver foil. These are formed by those process, and this kind of machines are used in that purposes. So what it does, they because of this constant beating, they form a thin sheet of layer. Like in some cases, like silver sheet you can see in sweets and all. So it's formed by this process. But if you try to do this malleability property, if you try to beat a non-metal, instead of forming a thin sheet, it will break. Like for coal and all, it's not possible. Then ductility. Ductility is a property with the help of which any element can be made into wires, like out here. So this property is also shown by your metals as well. For non-metal, we rarely see this property. So we rarely see this property with non-metals, but for metals we see that they can be drawn into thin sheet of wire. They can be drawn into wires. So one of the example would be gold and aluminum. So gold is one of the most ductile metal. So they can, that means from gold, long wires can be made. So this is an example of ductility. Now another property is heat conducting. Heat conducting is the property with the help of which any substance is able to make heat pass through it. And we see that we see that all the metals has that property to conduct heat. That means they are able to make heat pass through them. Like all the utensils in a kitchen, those are usually metals, and we use those elements because those utensils, those metals with which utensils are made, they are able to conduct heat, and that's how our food gets prepared. And we also have another example is mercury. So it is usually used in thermometer, so that means it is able to conduct heat. So that's why usually all the metals are good conductors of heat. So non-metals are bad conductors of heat. That's why we see that that's why your switches and all, electric switches and all at homes, those are